Welcome to Afghanistan.
Women are out in the streets. They're out and about, have more rights than men.
Why on earth would you peddle such delusional, disingenuous crap to the world?
Basically they got pulled into the principal's office, these YouTubers, given a tongue lashing for having like a life and actually going to Afghanistan and not just following what Western mainstream narratives dictate that you must have, that everyone who's in Afghanistan is either a terrorist or oppressed.
My love of the royal family died with the Queen. I love the Queen. I actually do not like King Charles. He's too woke.
I'm saying, King Charles, stop upsetting people, all right? Your supporters, these right-wing fruitcakes, have a right to know. Just tell them Islam's better than Christianity, all right? You know it's a dead force. No one takes Christianity seriously in this country. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to another episode of Muslims Uncensored with me, Robert Carter, and Roshan Saleh. We are both in very good spirits and very good health, so don't worry about anything. Everything is good here at Five Pillars. Roshan, Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the show. Everything is good, of course. We have nothing to say, but just tell me, how's your week going?
Yeah, it's going fine. It's like we're concealing something here, isn't it? Like you said we're all in good spirits. We got nothing to say. What does that mean? That means obviously there is something.
I know I'm very healthy. How are you feeling? Are you healthy? Anything to report?
Yes. No, nothing to report.
Oh, good.
None of your business.
Your dicky hip's doing all right, and all your bones, arthritis and whatnot.
I'm in perfect health.
Good. Well, I'm basically chilling today, everyone, brothers and sisters. It's too hot. I can't be bothered to dress up.
It's not that hot today.
Roshan never tries. Roshan never bothers, so I thought, okay, fair enough. If that's going to be the mode of the show, I'm coming.
20,
I've got my shorts on.
It's about 25 today, isn't it? 23, 24?
20.
So it's not as hot as it has been.
It's not raining.
No.
That's a great day in England. Do you know? It's not raining today, so that means get your clothes out. But anyway, we've got a lot to discuss, of course, so let's get into it. The first story is a continuation of a story which we've been covering for the last week or so now. It's obviously the designated group Palestine Action. This is a group which is totally prescribed in the UK and has been so for about a week and a bit now. However, despite the group's designation, there has been continued civil disobedience taking place on a weekly basis as protesters in growing numbers have been conducting silent protests in cities all across the UK, holding up signs saying that they oppose genocide, but they also support Palestine Action, and this has led to scores of arrests. The latest demonstration taking place this weekend gone saw around 40 people at least arrested in London alone, and many others arrested in Manchester, Cardiff, possibly a few other locations as well. There was an arrest in Glasgow in Scotland. Someone was wearing a shirt which said similar wording to Palestine Action and was arrested on suspicion, I think, of supporting the group. So it's happening now, Roshan. You actually predicted that this may happen.
Yeah, so I think there's been about 100 arrests. Obviously, quite a few. You can talk about this because you went to it, but also people have done some online protests. A comedian, I think a Muslim comedian, did wore a I am Palestine Action T-shirt. And then the deputy head of the Workers' Party as well handed himself into the coppers last week. So I think overall, the first week, there was about 50 arrests. The last week, there's been 100 arrests. But you were there.
Absolutely. I'll play out a little snippet now so you get a taste of what I witnessed on the weekend in London.
For your own safety, just take a step back. Let's keep going, let's keep going faster. How are you going to sleep at night?
Children!
They're committing a genocide and we're arresting them. How are you going to sleep at night?
Shame on you! Shame on you!
So the police are in large numbers. They've just surrounded the protesters. There's actually two groups. One by the statue of Nelson Mandela, which you can see here, and one by the statue of Gandhi, all holding the same signs, and the police have now surrounded the protesters. So yeah, everyone there was arrested. There were people laying down, trying to, something we've seen historically in America and whatnot.
Was it mainly elderly people like the previous week?
Yeah, lots of women, lots of elderly.
Yeah.
These people know what they're doing. They know the law, but they're taking a stand
Yeah.
against this law. They're flouting it on purpose, okay? And it's because from their point of view, they believe that freedom of speech is being attacked as part of this, and that counter-terrorism legislation is being wielded to basically silence an effort to oppose genocide. That's their argument, okay? And whatever you believe is right or wrong in this, they're taking the stand, they're being arrested. So we have to wait and see how this goes, Roshan. I don't know. It seems to me that this is going to be continuing on. And if the government had hoped that by designating this group, that would be the end of it, it's not. You know, we're still seeing many arrests associated to this group happening, and the authorities' resources are being stretched to deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Hizb ut-Tahrir was banned about a year ago.
Yes.
I mean, once that happened, there was literally no protest whatsoever. And I had a feeling that I was talking to people the day before Palestine Action got banned, and I was saying, look, what's going to happen here? And most people were saying, actually, people aren't going to flout this law at all, or 99% of people are going to be intimidated, etc. So I was actually surprised to see these protests happening, and it's mainly non-Muslims actually, you know, kind of flouting the ban, although a few Muslims as well. They're clearly willing to go to jail. When I attended a few Palestine Action protests before they got banned, it was clear to me that young people and old people, not so much in the middle, not the middle-aged people, but the young and the old, were actually willing to go to jail. You know, on a point of principle, they believe they're conscientious objectors or whatever the term is. So yeah, their tactic seems to be to clog up these police resources, to dare the police to arrest them, then go through the courts, then go to prison or not. And I think that it'll be interesting to see how this develops, because if it happens week after week after week, let's say if it goes on for a year, that's a serious issue for the authorities, because, you know, as we know, we're in a declining country where we don't have much money for anything, the NHS or the court system or whatever. This is going to really clog up the authorities with you know, a headache they don't frankly want. So let's see what happens. I mean, my feeling is that most people will still be intimidated. They won't want to risk jail or incarceration or anything like that, or even their jobs or public vilification. But it's clear that a hardcore minority is willing to take this to the nth degree.
Before we move on, there is something I want to bring up. Okay, let me just play this out.
Yeah, what was going on here?
So here's a clip which we're going to react to. I'm not sure when this was filmed. It was shared with me.
A few days ago.
A few days ago. It's British police being filmed by someone waving a Palestine flag. And just listen to this exchange, because this was really quite shocking.
My intention is to wave this flag and keep Palestine in the public consciousness right now.
So do you support any prescribed group?
I do not support any prescribed group.
Okay.
I support a free Palestine and the end of genocide.
The way that you're behaving at the moment would lead me to believe that you maybe give me suspicion of grounds to believe you could be.
What suspicion? That I've got a sign that says Free Gaza, I'm holding a Palestinian flag, and I have a sign that says Israel is committing genocide.
My colleagues explained that the support of this, mentioning freedom of Gaza, Israel, genocide, all of that, all come under prescribed groups, which are terror groups that have been dictated by the government, right, which we have suspicion to suggest that you're supporting, based on your actions here, in a city, with the flags and the posters you've got, right? If you don't provide us with your name and address, those are necessities for us to arrest you for offences against terrorism acts for being part of the prescribed group. In opinion, I believe this is supportive of the prescribed organisation. Now that you have done.
But that's ridiculous. You could end up arresting half the country
I didn't make the legislation.
So yeah, that's basically it. It looks
so he wasn't holding up a Palestine Action flag or anything like that?
Not from what I can see from the footage. What I understand is someone who explained he's holding two signs, one condemning Israel for genocide, one saying Free Gaza, and he had a Palestinian flag, I believe. And then he has a couple of coppers coming up to him saying, you're appearing to breach terrorism law, and you may get arrested now.
That's ridiculous overreach.
We're now seeing it, Roshan. We're now seeing it as illegal in Britain
Support Palestine.
to support Palestine. Have we not warned about this since the very beginning, that that's the real objective here of the establishment and of right-wing forces and of anti-Palestine forces in this country, the pro-Israel lobbyists, is to criminalize the word Palestine, the Palestinian flag? I mean, it looks like we are seeing that happen.
I mean, those
now.
police are.
It's not even a joke.
I mean, obviously, I mean, I don't think they were even accusing him of supporting Palestine Action. That's what's banned, Palestine Action.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Palestine flags or saying
Not
that Israel
Palestine,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
country.
Look, if saying Israel is committing a genocide is a terrorism offense, then you and me should be banged up immediately, right? Because we're saying it every single day.
Half the country. Half the country should.
I mean, I hope there's some kind of legal complaint against the police over that, because those coppers have overreached and they're going well beyond their remit, quite frankly. But yeah, you're right. The intention is to kind of confuse in people's minds what is legal and what is illegal, so that not only is Palestine Action banned, but, you know, Palestine activism is banned. That's the real target here.
Insane.
Intimidation.
It's insane. Yeah, that's the country we live in now, an authoritarian police state where if you say things that the state doesn't like, the status quo, then you risk being arrested as a terrorist for having thoughts and words and for holding up signs. Or flags or whatever. Okay.
So let's see how this plays out. Obviously, we have to be very careful in what we say. We can't actually, you know, we're tiptoeing around this issue a little bit, aren't we? Because Palestine Action is banned.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, we're being very careful with our words, and we're probably going to have to move on quite quickly to the next topic, because in the land of freedom of speech, there ain't no freedom of speech.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to clarify, the police have been making efforts to remind people online what the law is, what you can and can't do. They have warned protesters ahead of some of the pro-Palestine action demonstrations, like not what to do and what not to do. So there is information out there if you're not sure what the law is, but also we need to build our knowledge up of what our rights are as well.
The law is, brothers and sisters,
what our rights are.
Just to be, the law, brothers and sisters, the law is that you can't express any support whatsoever for the Palestine Action group.
Yeah.
Whether that's through words, placards, badges, T-shirts, whatever. That's the law. But the law doesn't say that you can't oppose the law or say it's a bad law.
Yeah.
You know, you were allowed to say that and say that Palestine Action shouldn't be on the terrorism list.
Apparently, yeah.
That's not expressing support for Palestine Action.
Yeah.
Although there's some confusion over that, but lawyers have reliably told me that, you know, we can oppose their inclusion on the terrorism list. We can say that it's wrong, it's ridiculous, it's an attack on freedom of speech, but we just aren't allowed to say those words, you know, in favor of Palestine Action. I'm even not saying the words because I know some Zionist is going to, you know, kind of cut this program up and have me saying those words, you know?
Yeah, I know.
So
it's
ridiculous.
It's scary times we live in, but obviously the stakes are very high, and we have to remember that the Palestinians are going through far worse than we are. So, you know, they need our help. So let's do everything within our legal means to support the Palestinian cause. Speaking of what's going on, so here's one that really got me wound up, Roshan. You know what I'm like when I get wound up, I tend to go a bit
ranty.
Yeah, I get a bit ranty. So I might, you know, take it easy on this one. But Wes Streeting, an MP, who of course is known for parroting Labour's immoral positions on Gaza, on Israel. You know, he's a Starmer loyalist through and through, a government minister who has a pretty reprehensible record when it comes to
He's a Zionist, and he voted against the ceasefire proposal in October 2023.
Exactly. Now, for some reason, he was at the Muslim News Awards, handing out awards in London recently. And obviously, this is an event where previously they've had like the Palestinian ambassador there giving out awards for Palestinian journalism.
Well, he was there yesterday as well, or day before yesterday.
And then all of a sudden they bring on Wes Streeting. Yeah. And I just could not for the life of me understand who on earth had the gall to get behind that decision. But Wes Streeting was there. Apparently there was some heckling taking place as well. That's what we've been told.
And a walkout.
But my goodness, what a disgrace. Wes Streeting up there, rubbing shoulders with so-called community representatives, handing out awards as if he's done nothing wrong, as if all Muslims love him and he's some kind of friend of the community. What a total disgrace. What a total disgrace.
Yeah, so I mean, I can give you some context on this. So obviously the Muslim News Awards happen every few years. It used to happen every year, but it's every few years now. And in the past, they were sponsored by the British Army and the government. I'm not sure whether they still are now. although West Streeting's presence and Dominic Grieve and others would suggest that maybe they are still. Let's have that clarified. But they've had really controversial speakers. They had Jack Straw addressing them during the height of the Iraq War. So the Foreign Secretary, one of the architects of the Iraq War and invasion, which killed, hundreds of thousands of Muslims. He addressed the Muslim News Awards during that period. And they've had many, many controversial figures doing that, giving the keynote speech. So it is an organization which is very close to government, very close to the authorities. I think the authorities need to say that they have some Muslim interlocutors, that they are engaging with the Muslim community. Yeah. So I think they use the Muslim News to do that, or the Muslim News Awards anyway. But obviously this is a complete disgrace. And I just think that as Muslims, we need to have a bit more dignity and pride in ourselves, and those who are complicit in the oppression of our brothers and sisters in Gaza need to be persona non grata within our communities. They need to be not invited to our events. They will not address or be given a platform by us in any shape or form. I know Yvonne Ridley, I know she won't mind me saying this because she was at the back and she actually heckled West Streeting, really? And people were, Yvonne Ridley, obviously a friend of the channel, a friend of ours. And, she was being called a lioness by the people around her, etc. I'm not sure whether he heard because she was right at the back. I know that one Muslim organization told me that they actually walked out when he came in. But unfortunately, we still have people in our community that are wedded to the Labour Party and wedded to the authorities. And I think, if they launched an invasion of Kashmir, they'd still invite these guys. Or if they, I'd go even further. If they attack the Kaaba, they would still invite these people. Some people in our community have no shame whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I think you're right about that. It's a depressing truth. It is a depressing truth. Yeah, I mean, it's a genocide going on and they're still cool with hanging out with this guy. I mean,
West Streeting, but we know West Streeting, right? He's
obviously weaseling his way back in, isn't he?
He was a target at the last election, right? By Lian Mohammed. You know more about this than me. And he came within a whisker of losing his seat to Lian Mohammed on the back of a Muslim vote, a Muslim left-wing vote there. And the cheek, he's trying to weasel his way back into the Muslim community. Obviously Labour need Muslim votes because they're going to get shafted by reform and they're desperate for Muslim votes now. Yeah. And that's why they turn up to these kind of events.
And he's definitely scared of Lian Mohammed because she's still there. I think she's going to run again. And now she's got this new party behind her as well. She'll definitely be a candidate for them, I'm sure. Corbyn and all the rest of them are going to back her up. And yeah, she came nail-bitingly close.
A few hundred votes.
I hope they're going to learn because the Greens shouldn't have run in that area. They probably lost her the seat because they split the vote. So yeah, hopefully lessons will be learned, and hopefully
they are going to be learned. You know what's going to happen. Obviously, there's this new Corbyn Sultana ticket.
Yeah,
and that's going to actually split the left wing vote because it's going to. So the centre and left wing vote is going to be shared between Labour, the Greens, and Corbyn Sultana. Okay, and Reform are just gonna. They're just gonna. They're going to basically walk over the line in the next election. Yeah. They're going to benefit most from that.
I think Reform could be the party of government, but if we have a good strategy, these lefty Muslim types might still get some seats. Who knows? But
they'll get seats, but they're not going to...
Yeah. There was a poll, actually.
That's a lot of rubbish.
That's a rubbish poll, is it?
Yeah.
They basically said that they could be on par with 15%, Labour. Or something like that.
Yeah, it's the worst. It was Find Out Now or whatever it's called. It's literally the most unreliable polling company in the UK.
Okay.
And
I don't know why they made a
it's
headline
rated 20 out of 20. So yeah, if Survation comes up with that kind of polling, or Ipsos Mori or YouGov, then you take it seriously.
Okay,
but not these guys.
All right, fine. So I won't get too excited at this stage.
No.
Well, there you go. I mean, we haven't seen.
You're not thinking of voting for Corbyn Sultana, are you? Because I tell you, a lot of Muslims are. Oh, you are.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Man.
Do you know what? I'm thinking. Since Muslims are going to get on board with this, as we know, they will do.
Oh, they will. Yeah.
I'm wondering if maybe I should get on board to some degree.
Like
so I can understand the inner workings of the party. I'm not saying I'm going to run as an MP. Don't worry.
You're selling out, man.
Roshan's worried I'm going to get a job somewhere else. I'll be an MP.
Take a job now. You're sacked.
Oh yeah. All right. Bye then.
I'm just worried about you selling out.
I think that
you're wavering. I can see.
basically, what I'm wondering, since you brought it up, I wasn't actually going to mention this yet, but I'm having
talked about this yet.
I'm having an internal debate whether I should, just for the benefit of knowing what's going on, maybe getting access to stories, seeing what the inner workings of this new pie is going to be. I'm not sure if that's the right decision.
No, I think we should cover it as look. I've always said
this is going to be what Muslims are going to focus on. You know, the last one was like the street movement.
Yeah.
This one, I think the whole community is going to get behind this one party. So does it make sense that one of us is sort of in there seeing what's going on?
I think a significant element of the community will. I think that's a debate to be had, to be honest. And obviously 5 Pillars, we're in a position where we're reporting the news, but we're also analysing the news. And I personally think, and brothers and sisters, you tell me whether we're being arrogant or not, but I personally think that the community does look for leadership to a certain extent from us. We're not the only leaders, or maybe that I'm being completely arrogant, but I think they look to... They want our opinion on this as well.
Yeah.
But I still think we should report it. If a phenomenon is happening in the Muslim community in the UK, even if we don't approve of it, we should still report it because it's relevant to our readers and viewers. But that doesn't mean we should support it.
Yeah, I think it's like
I'm done with lefties, man. I'm done with lefties.
For me, it's like an access thing. I just want to know what's going on in there, you know. So
we can't sell our souls for access. And they need us at the end of the day. They need us, you know. And you know, if they're going to shut down access to us just because of a bit of criticism, then you know, forget them. As far as I'm concerned, we're not going to sell our souls for a bit of access.
Yeah, maybe that's the best strategy. I was just thinking having access, because if this is what the Muslim community is going for, then maybe it makes sense that we just have someone in there knowing what's going on.
If it's genuinely like, if it's 90% of the Muslim community are going to jump on this ticket.
The politically active ones, by the way, because a lot of Muslims just don't engage politically at all, and I think that's an absolutely fine thing. I'm just saying the politically active ones.
I just can't see a lot of Muslims in this country, practicing believing Muslims, taking Zara Sultana as their leader.
Yeah,
a woman that voted for abortion until birth
just
a few weeks ago. A woman who is so pro-LGBT and trans, it's actually worse than, you know, most other non-Muslim members of parliament.
Yes.
She's literally a campaigner for LGBT and fahisha, directly contradicting the word of Allah in this country. Are Muslims really going to take this woman as our leader? I mean, I think you're crazy if you're going to do that.
I think it's. I think you're looking at it the wrong way. Muslims won't see it that way. The politically active ones, I think a lot of them will say this is a new thing, which we can potentially sort of use pragmatically to voice for us in the election. You know, I don't think they're going to see it as like, oh yeah, Zara Sultana, I love that lady, she's my leader, I'm going to vote for her. They're going to see it as this like movement, this party, and yeah, it's got the Zara Sultanas in there, and we don't like her thing. But the politically active Muslims, I think, are going to go, we've got to engage with this. They're trying something, and we've got to go for it.
Because
and my question is, exactly.
Actually, they won't keep out
and
reform.
punishing Labour.
No, it's about building a movement from their point of view, isn't it? Like over decades. Yeah. Because they're not going to keep out reform. In fact, they're going to split the left-wing vote.
Yeah.
I'm
just thinking, like, I know we have our view here at 5 Pillars, and I totally agree with that view. And a lot of people agree with us as well. We have our supporters and whatnot. But just looking like even our readers, when you ask them, are you even going to engage with this pie? A lot of them were like, yeah, we'll engage with it.
At the moment,
we don't like them, but we'll engage.
This is the
with
beginning,
them,
right? It's the beginning, you know.
Yeah.
So the debate is yet to be had.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I think the majority of voters would probably go for that ticket.
Yeah, let's see. I'm not decided, by the way. I'm not decided. I know Roshan's a bit scared.
I'm decided.
I'm not decided yet.
Brothers and sisters, what's your opinion? Would you go with Zara Sultana, Jeremy Corbyn? Is that a ticket you would support wholeheartedly or even half-heartedly, or would you be completely against it? Put it in the comments, please.
Yeah. Tell us what you think, because even I'm not 100% sure what to do with this situation. We'll see. And obviously, opinions may change in the general election. Okay, let's move on to another one now. One that, again, has divided opinion previously. Let's see how we handle it in the show right now. It's been 5 years since the anniversary of the Hagia Sophia Grand Masjid being re-established as a masjid, as a house of worship for Muslims in Turkey. And the Turkish authorities have, of course, celebrated the occasion as they do every year. And Muslims all over the world, I think, most of them are with me on this and think that this was a brilliant move, but there has been notable criticism of it. So it was originally a church,
yes,
as we know, back in the Roman times with the Byzantine Empire, and it was the seat of power for the Eastern Orthodox Church as well as the Eastern Roman Empire. Then it was obviously captured by the Muslims, the Ottomans, the Great Caliphate, one of the greatest caliphates.
First or second, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, one of the great caliphates of Islamic history.
1453.
Yeah, absolutely. It became the seat of power for the Ottoman Caliphate and was established as a mosque. Then, under Ataturk and the secularists, they turned it into a museum.
Yeah.
However, now, 5 years ago from this date in July, it was turned back into a mosque and was celebrated.
I saw you posting images of yourself on Twitter.
Yeah,
celebrating the fact that it had been turned into a mosque.
You'll remember, Roshan, at the time, people were debating this.
I was debating it. I was kind of against.
You criticised the move at the time. I think you thought it was an unwise thing to do. I absolutely loved it. I went straight there.
Most Muslims loved it.
A couple of months after the fact, I went straight there, prayed there, took some selfies there. It was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
Gloated on Twitter.
Did some viral content there. Everyone loved to see that white convert swanning in and taking selfies in the mosque. It was a brilliant trip, wonderful experience, a fantastic masjid, and I wholeheartedly support the move. But, you know, the Pope doesn't like the move.
Christians
So, you know, I should be concerned about that, apparently.
Yeah, I was, I mean, at the time, I was probably against it, simply I just thought it was Erdogan posturing, you know, and, you know, instead of basically going to war with Israel or doing something really meaningful, he decided to do that instead. So I just thought this was politics from Erdogan because he knew that it would be a popular move. And personally, you know, I don't think it was a necessary move. I think, you know, it's not obligatory for us to turn, you know, churches into mosques, from museums into mosques. He didn't have to do it. He did it because he knew it's going to be popular. He's a populist. It did give Muslims a sense of you know, pride and dignity and glory, I guess. So it was overwhelmingly popular and backed by most Muslim scholars and the masses.
Yeah.
But I, as someone who's kind of studied Erdogan myself, I just see him as the consummate politician. So I saw it as a political move that he didn't have to do. He could have, you know, he was kind of trying to unnecessarily, you know, kind of glorify himself and even maybe upset the enemies of Islam, which I don't mind doing. But he also ended up maybe upsetting people who weren't really the enemies of Islam as well, the ordinary Christians who just saw this as, oh, Muslims turning a church into a mosque, and all right, we're going to do the same, you know? Why don't we start, you know, destroying mosques and turning them into churches? You know, so I don't know. I just saw it sort of, even now. I mean, I must admit, I haven't been to Istanbul for 5 years. So I haven't been. If I go there, I'll be the first to go there and prostrate to Allah in Masjid Hagia Sophia.
Yeah.
And I won't have any problem with it whatsoever. But I just thought it was Erdogan playing politics. I still basically do.
I just don't really care about the reasons about how it happened. I just glad it
You just like seeing churches turning to mosques.
I do, absolutely. You know, Islam is the one true religion, okay?
Yeah.
And I want to see it spread as far and wide as it possibly can be. Yeah, Erdogan definitely did it for political reasons. And good. I'm glad he did it. I think it's a fantastic thing. And it's a well-established mosque. This idea that it's a church and it needs to be given back to the Orthodox, I'm sorry, but it was a church in a bygone age, in an empire which has long been lost to history. It's a well-established mosque. It's in a Muslim majority country. Leave it alone. And the fact of the matter is that if Christians really do care about praising and worshipping the creator of the universe, then surely having this place returned to a house of worship, even if it's for Muslims, is better than having it as some museum where people go in their shorts and mini skirts and take selfies and whatnot and just desecrate the place all the time. And actually, my video there was that they're not making it Sharia compliant enough.
Yeah, it's true. I've heard that.
Yeah, you remember the video.
People still are going in there.
Yeah, it's still Christians going in there, not dressing appropriately and taking their little crucifixes in and doing some Christian voodoo or whatever it is they do. And I didn't appreciate it, quite frankly. I didn't appreciate it.
Something that I've been thinking about over the last week is how Muslims need dawah as much as non-Muslims. Because all across the Muslim world, and you've traveled to a few Muslim countries. Alhamdulillah, I've traveled to like 25 or even more. And what I noticed is that even simple things, like things that we take for granted here, like let's say, for example, if we went into a Muslim area of Birmingham or Luton or wherever, Bradford, and we went into a Muslim home and there was alcohol there, we'd be shocked, wouldn't we? We'd say, what the hell's going on here? Whereas you actually go into Muslim homes all across the Muslim world and people are drinking alcohol in their homes, you know, and something as basic as that. And I just think that we do a lot of dawah outreach to non-Muslims and we have organizations catered for that. But actually Muslims need a massive amount of dawah themselves. And one reason why I would say just turning this church from a museum to a mosque, one thing that it was good for was dawah. And that I do appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you like it like I do, brothers and sisters, you can always go there and pray, take plenty of selfies. And on the anniversary, don't forget to celebrate the move as I do, as it certainly winds up the right people. I found that. My tweet went absolutely viral, so good. We need to keep doing that, I think.
That's the important thing, isn't it? Your tweets go viral.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ultimately, nothing else matters.
Yeah, a bit of dawah promoting it. But yeah, let's move on to something a bit more serious now, something which we can't allow to forget, and that's obviously the 30-year mark since the Srebrenica genocide, which took place. This was an article we published on 5 Pillars on the anniversary, and it's basically talking about the West's selective justice and double standards. This was obviously an occasion which has been etched into the minds of Muslims everywhere. It was on July 1995, the genocidal killing of thousands of Bosniak Muslim men and boys in the town of Srebrenica during the Bosnian War. You know, we're being lectured a lot about genocide today and how you should feel sorry for Zionists and Israel because they're the victim all the time. But I mean, I hardly hear of this, you know, and this is another case where genocides are still allowed to happen in the modern age. But when it's against Muslims, it's not such a big deal.
But did you see all the tweets from, you know, British authorities commemorating the Srebrenica genocide? Did you see that?
Yeah, it happens all the time. Yeah, every year. Yeah.
While supporting a genocide in Israel. Yeah. In Gaza, sorry.
I know.
I mean,
can't believe it.
The hypocrisy is absolutely, and they have no right to open their dirty mouths about Srebrenica. You know, when they're literally, and they're going, we must learn the lessons from Srebrenica. No one's learned the lessons from Srebrenica. A genocide is happening 30 years later, and they're supporting it.
The West is
behind it.
I mean,
what lessons have been learned? It's just pious platitudes.
It's crazy.
But it's I mean, I've been to Srebrenica, and I encourage brothers and sisters, I encourage you to visit Bosnia. It's a beautiful part of the world. It's an amazing place to go for a holiday, quite frankly. But if you have the opportunity to, you know, even if you go to Sarajevo, you know, there's a museum there which details the genocide, not just in Srebrenica, but also the siege of Sarajevo, etc. But if you have the opportunity to go to Srebrenica, which is about 3 hours, I think, drive from Sarajevo, you must do that. It's a very, you know, it's a very depressing place, poignant place. There is also a museum there, you know, next to the cemetery that you can visit. Which was the UN base. Obviously, the Dutch UN peacekeepers basically sold out the Muslims and didn't defend them like they should have. So I encourage you to go and visit Srebrenica. But I mean, there's a few points that I'd like to make, Robert. One is obviously the hypocrisy of the West. Maybe we can see Haris's video first.
Yeah, sure.
Because we did have a correspondent there, Haris Tagari, who did some very, very good work commemorating the anniversary.
The very same mortar shells which are dropped now today in Gaza were the same mortar shells which were dropped on the city of Sarajevo behind me. My name is Haris Tagari, reporting for 5 Pillars here in Bosnia on the 30th commemoration of the Srebrenica genocide. I am in the Martyrs Cemetery, not in Srebrenica, but here in Sarajevo, because it wasn't just Srebrenica which endured anti-Muslim bigotry and genocide. It was also Sarajevo and the entirety of Bosnia. 11,000 would be killed here in Sarajevo. The longest siege in modern history happened here. Everything was cut off. Water was cut off, food was cut off, aid was cut off, electricity. It was actually revealed earlier on that Israel was supplying the Bosnian Serb forces who enacted this punishment against the Muslims of Sarajevo with mortar shells. Inhabitants of Sarajevo would often see Hebrew written on mortar shells. Another reminder of Israel's long-standing collaboration in genocide. Behind me is actually the grave of Alija Izetbegovic. He was a trailblazer. He was imprisoned many times because of his outspoken nature, his uncompromising Islamic beliefs, which landed him in prison due to the communists. And sadly, during the Bosnian War, he would be the president of Bosnia. He would stand by its people for those 4 grueling years.
Yeah, so that's Haris. So I do encourage you, brothers and sisters, to look on our social media. He did a series of reports from Srebrenica and also from Sarajevo. And he is going to actually come up with a documentary, a longer form documentary. I think we'll release it on YouTube in the next few days, inshallah, where he'll detail his entire visit to Bosnia over the last week. But I mean, there's 2, if you allow me, Robert, there's 2 points. I'll try and keep it brief that I'd like to make. One is that everything's not hunky-dory in Bosnia at the moment. You know, the communities are still very, very divided. The Serbs, the Croats, the Muslims. Even on the drive to Sarajevo, you'll see lots of kind of Serbian nationalist neighborhoods, and the idea of Republika Srpska actually, you know, came to fruition. So the genocide from the Serb point of view actually worked because they have a part of Bosnia carved out for themselves, which is a Serbian nationalist, you know, stronghold. And there's this phenomenon of genocide denial as well. You see, they're proud of what happened. They don't believe that Srebrenica was a genocide. They think it's all a massive conspiracy theory, and it was, you know, casualties of war. And there's so much genocide denial that actually goes on still to this day in Serbia, as well as you know, the Bosnian Serb areas of Bosnia. The other thing I'd like to say is that, you know, coming back to learning the lessons. I mean, in the UK, we're at a very early stage of what the Bosnians went through. Obviously, we're not at a genocidal state yet, you know, or genocidal moment, rather. But we are at the early stages of it. I don't say that lightly, brothers and sisters, because how did this start? This started with rhetoric. It started with words, you know, demonization of the Muslims after the breakup of Yugoslavia, stereotypes about them being, you know, terrorists or, you know, violent towards their women or whatever. It also started with discriminatory laws. Now that's happening in the UK, you know. So we are under attack in terms of the rhetoric that is being allowed, you know, to run riots across the mainstream media and social media, with Ofcom doing nothing, with the government doing nothing. Figures like Tommy Robertson, GB News, Talk TV, every day demonizing Muslims to millions of people and getting away with it, saying the most outrageous lies. Rupert Lowe, an MP, and several others, saying the most outrageous lies without any evidence whatsoever, demonizing Muslims on a daily basis and migrants, and absolutely getting away with it, and the authorities doing nothing about it. That's what happened in Bosnia before the genocide. Discriminatory laws. So here we've got our organizations being banned, you know, freedom of speech curtailed, Muslims targeted, unlike other communities. Every other community in this country having freedom of speech, freedom of action, within the law, of course, whereas our community being surveilled, monitored, targeted, demonized. It's the early stages of genocide, man. That's what it is. And it's only going to get worse with a Reform UK government. So, you know, I'm literally saying this now, and people will accuse me of hyperbole, but we're looking at concentration camps in 30 years' time of British Muslims. We're looking at mass deportations. That is what Britain has in store. And you can rewind this. You can laugh at me now. Rewind this in 30 years and see where we're at. Unless we fight. And when I say fight, I don't mean physically fight. I mean, you know, literally stop this through any legal means that we possibly can. Because this is the trajectory, Robert.
Yes, and just empower ourselves, obviously, as a community. There's a lot of lessons to be learnt from this, and I just hope that we can kind of remind ourselves, refresh our memories with every anniversary, and just remember, like you said, that things are still happening today. Muslims are still dehumanized, you know.
Remember Srebrenica. It's bullshit. It's bullshit in them. It's just words and platitudes. They don't remember Srebrenica. It's just another way of trying to say, oh, here, we're good people, and where it's a bit of outreach to the Muslim community. It's a few crumbs thrown our way, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's narrative control as well.
Whereas they're keeping their eyes on the prize, which is exterminating the Palestinians.
Yeah.
And, you know, whatever else evil plan they have in mind.
It's total narrative control. Yeah, they just want to gaslight us and rewrite history in their favor. Well, there's 2 more stories we can cover. I just feel like we needed to react to this, Roshan, to be honest with you.
What is it?
Piers Morgan did a segment on his show yesterday, I think it was. and he basically has this obsession with the Taliban and Afghanistan and everything to do with it. And he doesn't like any YouTubers going there and enjoying themselves.
Like us. Yeah.
Kind of.
We had a great time.
Exactly, yeah. So
me and Dilly had a great time.
He seems to have an issue with anyone who goes to Afghanistan and who doesn't just hate the locals and think that everything's backwards and barbaric like he does. If you go there and actually think, oh, actually, do you know what? This country's actually not so bad and it's quite enjoyable and the people are nice. He condemns you for it, and that's exactly what happened on this latest episode.
That's the experience of everyone that does go. But anyway,
I'll give you a taste from his trailer, and you can see for yourself what the show's really all about.
One message for America. Welcome to Afghanistan.
Women are out in the streets. They're out and about, have more rights than men.
Why on earth would you peddle such delusional, disingenuous crap to the world?
It's easy to look at it from just a single perspective.
Well, what did you see that you broadcast to the world on your channel?
The women were very happy from what we saw. In their family homes, yeah. So you've been...
Have I been?
Women being happy, being locked up in their homes in Afghanistan. One of the reasons I became a journalist, I find it quite emotional listening.
Now the tide of journalism is changing.
You're not doing journalism, Harold. Do me a bloody favour, mate. The attitude of these Tali-bros.
I don't agree with any of these things, of course, but...
bro, you're a Tali-bro and you put women in cages, don't you?
Didn't you say to a young girl back in your page, in one of your...
Like, clearly sarcasm.
Are you opposed to the radicalisation of young children?
Of course.
This is from your trip entitled "The Young Taliban Trained Me for War."
So these young YouTubers, yeah, it's a good watch. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, basically they got pulled into the principal's office. These YouTubers given a tongue lashing for having like a life and actually going to Afghanistan and not just following what Western mainstream narratives dictate that you must have, that everyone who's in Afghanistan is either a terrorist or oppressed. These YouTubers went there. They ate the food. They obviously had to, I think you have to kind of interact with the Taliban at some point because they run the country, right? So if you go there, you'll bump into them at
of course you will,
checkpoints or whatever. But yeah, they were apparently said, you know, for having their opinions and for talking about Afghanistan away from the headlines, away from the news, they were condemned by Piers Morgan. And he dragged on that Sky News liberal
Yalda
Afghan,
Hakim.
Yalda Hakim, to give him a good telling off.
Plastic Afghan, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Who was raised in Australia. She gave a good finger wagging session and expressed her outrage. And this is someone who, you know, I don't see her expressing that outrage for women's rights in Gaza right now, for example. You know, the one thing that Piers Morgan's been accused of apologizing for, Israeli propaganda. They don't seem to care about that. But yeah, what can I say? It was quite a funny watch, I have to say.
Well, obviously, I've been to Afghanistan twice, post 2021, and so has Dilly. You've yet to go, but inshallah, that's one of your upcoming trips.
I'm more determined as ever to go now, just to annoy Piers Morgan.
You know, it's a beautiful country. All I can say is, I mean, I was there a couple of months probably, or a bit under a couple of months, the 2 times I went, and traveled around. Beautiful country, amazing food, welcoming people. And you just have a great time. And, you know, again, it's not illegal. People think it's illegal to go to Afghanistan. They think that if you go to Afghanistan, you're going to get arrested for terrorism. You can travel to Afghanistan on a tourism visa and you can go and enjoy the country. You don't have to even mingle with the Taliban or whatever. You can just go there to have a good time, you know? And of course, there's an issue with women's education. And we're not denying that. We've covered it quite comprehensively here on 5 Pillars. And a lot of women don't like it. And a lot of Taliban don't like it as well. I mean, I met them, they didn't agree with it. But, you know, every country's got its issues. And I mean, when I went there, saw lots of women, you know, working in especially the public sector. The woman the person that stamped my passport when I entered the country was a woman in the airport. And, you know, I think things might have changed. There's some segregation in parks now and stuff like that, which I don't agree with. I mean, in terms of, what I don't agree with is there are some areas, I believe, where women aren't allowed to go to parks at all, even with their children. So I think they should find days where they can do that. It can still be segregated.
Yeah, sure.
But all I would say is that women were playing a role in life, in hospitals, as teachers, in public life I'm talking about, when I was there. And but they're implementing Sharia law, and their version of Sharia law is mixed with Pashtunwali, you know, the cultural law that they have in Afghanistan as well. It's their interpretation. Some might think it's a harsh interpretation. I think many Muslims would as well. But I think the picture that Yalda Hakim is painting, that the whole country's in misery, and I'm sure she, in heart of hearts, she'd probably like another Western invasion, you know, and she completely supported. I'm pretty sure I'm saying, right, you know, when the West was literally invading and occupying Afghanistan, you know, I don't think she was complaining too much. And that is a far greater evil than ordinary Afghans ruling their own country. So there are problems in Afghanistan. There are anywhere in the world. But from my point of view, they have peace, security, stability, and they need room. They're being recognized by countries around the world now, alhamdulillah, or a few countries anyway. And they need space to grow and to improve, because nation building doesn't take 2 minutes. It takes decades and even longer than that. And Britain didn't become the stable country that it is now without going through loads of trials and tribulations. And it still has loads of issues. So stop picking on Afghanistan.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Piers Morgan's brother was a military colonel, I think.
Was it Afghanistan or Iraq?
Both, I think. Both. Yeah, it was in both, I think. So obviously, you know...
So a war criminal, basically. You know, I would classify that as a war crime.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think that people forget this, you know, when they see Piers Morgan having a go at Muslims all the time, or anyone who has an opinion about the Muslim world that he doesn't like. Maybe there's something more behind that. I mean, he obviously really appreciates this journalist, Yalda, because when Morandi, that Iranian professor, shamed her in that interview during the attacks on Iran, he basically called around and said, you're a disgrace to journalism because of the narratives you're pushing out. Piers Morgan dragged him on his show and then started attacking him and saying he's a ghastly human being. I suspect it's because he has a personal friendship with this woman.
I'll be honest. I'll be totally honest. If you're a bloke, all right, and you go to Afghanistan, you will have a whale of a time. If you're a woman, perhaps less so. Because there's more restrictions. So I, for example, would like to take my family on holiday to Afghanistan. But I do worry, and this is someone who's been there, and you know, I've had relations with the Taliban, literally interviewed Taliban members, talked to loads and loads of Taliban, and continue to do so, by the way. I'd be reluctant to take my family on holiday to Afghanistan because they'd be restricted in a way that probably goes beyond what my interpretation of Islamic law. So that's my honest opinion on the matter. But I don't think it's a detail of what's going on in Afghanistan, and an important detail. I don't think the real agenda behind these people is regime change. We know they're imperialists, okay? And they would love to see the Americans and the British still in charge of that country, civilizing the natives.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just sick and tired now. Like, I don't really care what the Afghans do in Afghanistan. That's up to them. You know, they can literally do whatever they want. Implement Sharia in any way they want. It's up to them. It's not my business. But what I am sick to death of hearing is how Muslims in this country should go back home or integrate or fix up because they're not welcome or they're not conforming or whatever. You know, they get attacked for wearing a hijab or being too Muslim all the time, having a Muslim name or whatever, and they're told to go home. Then when there are Muslims in their home country, which is Muslim majority being Muslim, they're still like, how dare, what are you doing? I need to go over there and fix these guys up.
We can't
let me get involved here. Like, how dare you? And they start lecturing them. I'm sick of it. Just leave Muslims alone, man. They can't, they're damned if they do here. They're damned if they do in their own bloody country.
I mean, if they're going to deport me, I suppose I could go back to Sri Lanka, right? Whereas where are they going to deport you to? Enfield. I mean, you literally got nowhere to go.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, some
What
island.
are they going to do with the converts, the indigenous converts?
Yeah, that's
Tommy Robinson has not, Reform UK has not outlined that policy position. I want an answer, Nigel Farage.
I might challenge him if I ever bump into him. I'd be like, where are you going to deport me, bro? Where are you going to deport me? But that's the thing, I'm more British than any of these people, I say.
But you know Nigel Farage is slightly more liberal. He's slightly more liberal than the others. I know he's their leader, but he actually doesn't, he kind of thinks that we're too big a community to take on things like halal meat. Whereas I think his foot soldiers are like, no, deport them. You know?
Yeah, they want like a holy war, don't
You're
they?
soft, Farage.
Yeah, they want a holy war. But that actually brings me on to my next topic, because it's not just Farage who gets criticised for being some kind of like Muslim ally
Yeah.
by the by the extreme
appeasing Islam.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's crazy. But there's actually another story which keeps surfacing, and it surfaced quite recently. The right wing in Britain seem to have a problem with the royal family, and their criticism is aimed at the king himself. So King Charles, of course, you'd expect that the right wing would be humping his leg and, you know, praising him for being their monarch. And
Yeah, they're monarchists, aren't they?
Yeah, normally they are. They're royalists, aren't they? And they love everything. And obviously he's been criticised for a wide variety of things. Some come out saying he's too woke. He's expressed views on immigrants that they don't like, and, you know, he doesn't believe in nuking boats of refugees in the English Channel. So that's like, obviously
he's a liberal, basically.
How dare you woke son of a gun. But I think there's another issue happening here which is the real issue, Roshan. But before I discuss that, let me just bring you a reaction from GB News, a great channel to watch if you're a complete right-wing fruitcake. And this guy tries to explain why he basically hates the king, even though he's a royalist, apparently.
Sacrilege.
Yeah, absolutely.
For quite a lot of people, especially people I've spoke to out there, that my love of the royal family died with the Queen. I love the Queen because my nan, I used to sit there, my nan used to live with me for a bit, and we used to sit there, and she got a lot of joy out of watching the Queen. I actually do not like King Charles. He's too woke. I think the Penn incident where he shushed away the aid, I think that shows the type of person he is.
He won't believe in his Muslims.
I don't want to get rid of the royal family. I think they're part of our heritage.
You don't like them.
No, I don't like.
He doesn't like King
Charles. I don't want to get rid of them. I think they bring a lot to this country. But
what about William and Kate? You like them?
I like them, yeah. But how dare someone like King Charles try and get involved in things like open borders? He's not the one whose community are being ravaged by illegal immigrants, harassing schoolgirls or touching schoolgirls. That's happening in my area.
That's a joke. That's such incitement.
Yeah.
They say this kind of stuff. I'm not going to talk about the king for the moment, but I hear this again and again and again, that migrants are a danger to British women. Where's the stats? Rupert Lowe says that. This is just hot air. It's anecdotal. It's prejudice and bigotry, quite frankly. They haven't got one stat to back up that argument. But they know, just like Goebbels, right? They know the more you repeat a lie, the more it gets into people's consciences. I've actually challenged them about this. Give me the stat that migrants or Muslims are a danger to British schoolgirls or women, and they can't. They just said, my nan says this, or Auntie Mabel said, just absolute rubbish. But they repeat it again and again and again, and more people are believing it.
And there's all sorts of footage that gets posted online, and people, assume that there's a massive epidemic of this, but no one knows where that footage came from, or the age of it, or when it happened.
They come up with graphics as well now from these dodgy organizations which just make stuff up. But just because it's kind of glossy and you got this bar chart with, Muslim rapists right at the top, they believe it, and people believe it. It's pure propaganda and lies, but it's seeping into the public consciousness now.
Yeah, it's so bad, actually, and concerning. I remember during the COVID pandemic, when everyone was in hysterics and the end of the world was nigh and all that type of stuff.
Like you.
Yeah, like me. I was ready to end it all, but yeah, there was a government website had to debunk a far right narrative that Muslims were spreading COVID on purpose to end the world. They actually had to intervene. The government had to intervene.
They uncovered our plan
to deal with this narrative, this conspiracy theory, because it was so widely believed in places like Leicester, for example. They genuinely believed that Muslims were going to mosque for Jummah prayers to spread COVID on purpose to try and end the world faster. And I was like, people will believe anything. And unfortunately, it's just getting worse now with all the populist politics that we've got. But what I want to say about this King Charles thing, everyone's having a go at him right now because of immigration and the fact he's too political, he's too woke. The fact of the matter is, all of this criticism from the right started after he became king, and he started to continue a long line of him praising Islam, basically.
Right.
So I think what's happened now is he's become associated with Islam as the king, and the right can't tolerate that because obviously they hate everything to do with Islam and Muslims. That's their bread and butter issue right now. They're obsessed with Muslims. And so to have a king who they're supposed to, you know, leg hump on one day, but then the next day he's praising Islam as a fantastic, interesting religion of deep faith and spirituality, it's intolerable. And so they don't know what to do. And at the moment, they're just lashing out and they're attacking the king. And who knows where this will go? They might even try and dethrone the guy. Do you know what I mean? But even Reform UK, proper flag humpers, these guys, even they had a pop at him over his comments on open borders or something like that, and he's too political.
Look,
so
you know,
let's see where it goes. But I think that the fact is, King Charles, if you like Islam so much, just embrace Islam, put these people to rest. They have a right to know if you're a Muslim or not. And I think...
What do you think he is?
I think
he isn't a Muslim.
I think he should be a Muslim. He talks about Islam so much, and I just believe if you know about Islam but you don't embrace it and you respect and love it, you're risky.
That's the definition of a kafir. You reject someone. You see, the definition of a kafir isn't someone who is just ignorant. There's some hope for those people, but people that actually know about Islam and reject it, they are the kafirun. You know, they are that's what they are.
Yeah.
People don't like me saying this, but that's literally the classical understanding. You know.
Yeah.
I think Prince Charles has a heart. You know, I'm not a massive fan of him, but at the same time, he has a genuine interest in Islam. But I think I looked up this word before we started the show. But I think it's a pantheist. So he believes that all religions lead to God, and that all religions are true to a certain extent. But his road to God is Christianity and Anglicanism. So I don't believe he is a Muslim, but he clearly has an interest in Islam. He may even think that, obviously he believes in one God. He may even think that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was a prophet. But at the same time, he's not said his shahada. I think that's a load of rubbish. But at the same time, there are things that, you know, we have to criticize him for. I mean, he's sold so many arms, you know, to all these despotic regimes in the Muslim world. So I don't think we should be overly effusive in our praise of King Charles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no royalist, do you know what I mean? But I just think that King Charles, he clearly loves Islam more than any other religion because he keeps talking about it.
No, he doesn't. He loves Christianity more.
I don't think so. I think he knows
He's
it's a dead...
literally Christian. Where'd you get this
Allegedly. That's his job.
You're just like conspiracy theory now. You're basically
No. Wait a minute. His job, he has to, like, you know, go to Canterbury and do whatever.
That's
Christian
his job.
stuff.
He's doing it under duress.
He's head of the church, all right. But the fact is, if he was a Christian, he'd talk about Christianity more than Islam. And right now,
so he's a secret Muslim.
Every time he talks about Christianity, he just mentions Islam, and that's what they're condemning him for. That. Pretty much, to be honest with you. He loves Eid. He gets out and starts wrapping up dates for Eid, and he loves to go to Muslim shindigs. This guy loves everything to do with Islam. Yeah, I'm saying, King Charles,
Khilafah,
stop upsetting people. All right, your supporters, these right-wing fruitcakes, have a right to know. Just tell them Islam's better than Christianity, all right? You know it's a dead force. No one takes Christianity seriously in this country. It's a dead institution. The Church of England is in wreck and ruin. And quite frankly, the king doesn't care. The king doesn't care about it. But he likes Islam. He definitely admires Islam.
I think you're in for a George Galloway-esque disappointment, Robert, where you think this guy's a Muslim and it turns out he's worshipping the cross and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I don't know what's really going on there, but honestly, I think just get on with it and embrace Islam. That's why I always tell to people who keep talking about Islam, just get on and embrace it.
You know, we have a mutual friend, he's a priest. He may even be watching this show. And he's someone who's got an academic interest in Islam. And I think he genuinely likes Islam. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
and he's getting on a bit. He's like 76, 77, maybe older than that. For years, he's been praising Islam to me. And he's been praising the Prophet ﷺ, praising the Quran, everything to do with Islam. A few years back, I said, look, time is ticking for you, mate. You know, like the clock is ticking. Like the clock's ticking for all of us. But you know the clock's ticking for you because you're 77 years old. All right. What's stopping you, man? Just take your shahada. I don't want to hear you praising Islam to me. I want to see that shahada. I want to see you get down on your knees in sujood. And I'm saying this for your own good because I like you, man. I don't want to see you burn in hell.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like, you don't have to tell me why Islam's so great. I know. That's why I embraced it, innit? So anyone who loves Islam but hasn't embraced it,
don't waste no time.
just get on with it. Yeah.
Don't do your academic studies. If you're convinced that there's only one God and the Muhammad is, just get on with it.
Take the plunge. I know people get worried
and
about
submit.
it. Yeah, I know people get a bit nervous about taking the plunge, I think, because obviously, you know, Islam and will my family reject me and all that stuff. So I'm sensitive to that. But I'm telling you, just do it, man. It's such a great decision to make, and it will be the greatest decision of your life. I think that's family. They're telling me, hurry up and end your show. I'm sick of it. Let's get you home. But yeah, there we go, brothers and sisters. That's all the topics I had. Was there anything else you wanted to discuss?
No,
I think we've covered a lot of ground.
Just that I think over the next few weeks, brothers and sisters, we might have a little bit of a break. Kind of end of July, August is a time where we travel, maybe take a bit of holiday as well. So we've had a consistent run over the past kind of maybe 6 weeks. So it might be a little bit inconsistent over the next few weeks. But if there's something urgent that happens, then we will go live, even if it's remotely, but maybe not in the studio. And also, when we come back, we actually might have a new studio with a few more bells and whistles, inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah. So we are hoping to take this to the next level and to get out there. And we've got a social media guy coming on to help us push the show and all sorts. So yeah, inshallah, just keep supporting the channel, keep supporting 5 Pillars. You know how to do it. I've shared that donation link many times. I'll do it again, but make sure you put your money where your mouth is and help us. If you like the channel, if you like the show, help the channel grow. That's
even
what I
more
like
than
to
the
say.
donation link. Is just, you know, leave your comments and
share the show,
start a conversation, share the show. I've said before, you know, if you can set up a WhatsApp link, WhatsApp channel, you know, where you have 20 of your friends and family on there. So, and just spread the show around, then they can send it to 20 more people, and then inshallah we can get the viewing numbers up and the engagement up, etc., and help us grow.
Inshallah. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Please like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel immensely. And until next time, assalamu alaikum. Ma salama for now.